Hey everybody, it's Jeremy. Welcome back to Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. This is our Beast Tamer Bard build episode. What are you looking at? Beast Tame you. Episode 213. And this is probably actually going to be a chill couple of videos because we're going to do some respecking. I've been threatening to do respec for a while now. I need to respec pretty badly on a couple of characters. A couple of characters are very optimized because of some random choices that we have made in the past. I did try to do some of this during my vacation, during my off time, but unfortunately I got really hemmed in with other projects and only managed to get a little bit of it done. And we're going to go over what that little bit was. So I actually did get to respec Ember and Sela and Calypso. So we're going to take a look at what those are first. And then we'll spend the, next couple hours, maybe not a couple hours, but probably a little while, right, going through other characters and respecking them slowly but surely. So kicking off with Ember, mostly we are the same, right? Same type of situation that we did last time. Stigmatized Witch for 15 levels, taking a dip into Sorcerer Crossblooded at level 13 to pick up a Brass and Gold Dragon. I did not screw up this time and take the correct Mythic so that we now have Draconic Bloodline Red as well. And I realized it wasn't that I took a second level of Gold last time. There's actually two Bloodline Mythic abilities that you can take. You can take getting an additional Bloodline, right, is one of the Mythic abilities that you can take, or you can take the Ascendant Bloodline, where whichever Bloodline you pick, you get the level 20 ability for, basically. You count as, maybe not, that's a bad way of saying it, you count as being a level 20 of that Bloodline. So what we actually got, that was what we took. We took the Gold Ascendant Bloodline, and that actually got us, like, immunity to fear and immunity to fire and like a dark vision and blah, a bunch of stuff that did not really matter to us and ultimately was not the thing that we were trying to accomplish anything. So now we do have the correct thing in Bloodline Red. Back to actual classes. Mostly we have stayed primarily the same with a couple of little tweaks. We did go the whole greater spell penetration route initially. We took Weapon Focus Ray earlier on to try to really focus on our ability to hit rays. Spell Focus Evocation, so that we can increase the DC of our spells. We took Bolster, right, so that we can actually try to boost. And I've seen a lot of arguments between, like, Bolster and Empower and Maximize, right? I think probably all have good examples, and you probably best bet is to not spend any feats on this and just get rods, right? So we might actually look at doing that as well, but for now, I thought taking Bolster was probably going to be one of our best bets because Bolster lets us spread Ember's spell efficacy across multiple levels, right? So we're not really looking for a crazy amount of additional damage, although Bolster does have your spells deal 2 more points of damage per die rolled. So much like the Bloodlines, right, we're getting +1. Paths are going pretty well. How's it going, Jay? So, for example, if we get Brass Dragon, right? So say we do a Hellfire Ray, right? We fire 2 Hellfire Rays. Each one rolls 15d6, okay? For Brass Dragon, we get +1 damage for each die rolled. For Gold Dragon, +1 damage for each die rolled. Red Dragon, +1 damage for each die rolled. So, just off of those two 15s, we're getting a shit ton of extra damage. Well, guess what? You can actually bolster that, right? You can turn a level 7 Hellfire Ray into a level 8 Hellfire Ray, or a level 6 Hellfire Ray into a level 7 Hellfire Ray, and that does 2 more damage per die roll. You can also do this to Scorching Ray, you can do this to Fireball, you can do this to Fire Snake, you can do it to all of the abilities, right? And it does increase the amount of damage that you can do, but almost as importantly, or more importantly, right, it allows Ember to have spells spread throughout all her levels that are effective damage spells, right? So that's the game plan. I don't know if it's going to work out super well. We'll kind of like keep an eye on it and see. And then this is this is the questionable one for me, but this I have noticed a couple of times throughout the game where this has been a really annoying situation. Probably I don't need to be using this and I can just use a 5-foot move and be done with it. But what we're gonna test, right, is I'm gonna try to consciously keep an eye out between this level and the next level of how many times in battles is Ember getting run up on, right? Is my main character getting run up on? Because in theory, with Snapshot, what we can do is we can use a we're not looking for the opportunity attack option here. We don't care about that. What we do care about is us not provoking opportunity attacks. So, for example, that fight in the flesh markets, right? When Ember Hellfire Raid or Scorching Raid or whatever it was, right? In theory, with Snapshot, we would not have gotten attacked when we did that. Now, again, part of that is just, if you're cognizant, you 5-foot move away and then you do it and you're fine, right? So I don't know if this is going to be something that we're actually interested in or that's actually really going to make a big difference, but I'm looking at it from a quality of life perspective. So we're going to keep an eye out on that. So that's one of the big changes that we made to her current build. I think everything else is mostly in, order around and about. And then we made a couple changes on actually picking up hexes primarily. So listening to other people's builds, again, trying to not spoil myself too much on what happens in the actual game or anything like that, but just listening and reading about what abilities are good. I have picked up Fortune and Protective Luck as those kind of like combos with Evil Eye. So one of the things you can do with Fortune and Protective Luck, for example, are you can, if you know you're going into a really tough fight, you can go, okay, here's a Protective Luck on this person, and cackle. Here's a Protective Luck on this person, and cackle. Here's a Protective Luck on this person, and cackle. Here's a Protective Luck on this person, and cackle. Protective Luck is on everyone. Cool. Cackle. Here's a Fortune on this person. Cackle. Here's a Fortune on this person. Cackle. Fortune's on everyone. Cackle. Now, Protective Luck and Fortune are on everyone. Cackle. 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 Right? You can continue to cackle and start to, in theory, right? Like, you can cackle and it doesn't double the duration, but you can extend the duration over and over and over again. And you can, like, jump into the beginning of a battle, and for, like, the first 2 turns, you can have Fortune and Protective Luck up, right? Like, that type of situation. Now, I've seen a couple of things like that, and that's very gamey of the system. So I don't think I will be doing that personally, honestly. But we now have the option if we want to. And we weren't really making... We had, like, regenerating Sinew or whatever it was. We had a couple of other things that we really weren't making any use of, period. So we might as well not be using these things, but have access to them if we so choose. We still have Evil Eye because we do use that every once in a while. We still have Ice Plant just to give us a little bit of an AC boost. And we did take Beast's Gift again. I'm going to try to remember to start using this more frequently because I do think this actually would be cool. We just got it last time or got it previously and promptly forgot to use it, right? So we're going to try to start throwing this on people and seeing if it's any good, because it could be cool. Especially could be cool, right, for Calypso, which has also been respect. But we'll talk about that in a second. Other changes, I think... actually, I don't think there were really any other changes to Mythic Path and everything like that. all stayed exactly the same, except we fixed up our screw up with the Draconic Bloodline Red. Everything else was the same. We took Ascendant Fire, we took Spell Penetration, we took Abundant Casting twice, etc., etc. Next up, we have Sela, and Sela we actually did make a fair amount of changes to. So previously, we had experimented with Sela doing this whole charge build, and it was really cool. It was really fun. It got us to kind of like our highest damage number. We got a crit on a charge, and that damage was doubled, and we ended up like one-shotting someone with like 480 some odd damage or some shit like that. It was crazy. Really cool. Really fun. And that is exciting, but it's also wildly inconsistent, right? Our ability to charge things is basically once at the start of a fight, and that's it, ever. Sometimes we get into fights and we don't get a chance to charge anything at all just because of where Sela and Calypso are located, and because of the initiative in the battle, etc., etc., right? So, in those instances, all of those charge scenarios do nothing for us, right? Like they absolutely do no thing for us, and it is not great. So we just went away from that, basically. We went into a very purely two-handed damage focus on the scythe, right? We have weapon focus scythe. Most of these things we already had, right? We just had a couple of mounted combat feats in place. So weapon focus scythe already had, power attack already had, mounted combat already had, indomitable mount already had, right? Like those things are all good. We also had the charge one, which we don't have anymore, and we had trample. We picked up trample last time, which is nothing that we're going to utilize, so we got rid of that. We had improved critical scythe already. We still have that, and now we have critical focus scythe, so we can confirm crits more easily, meaning we get the benefit of those crits more frequently, right? And then we actually have Cornagon Smash. So this is a pretty big change. And this is I altered in our abilities and our skills, right? Like what I was going to focus on with Sela. So previously we had altered our focus to where we had lore religion and we had mobility, right? Mobility for the mounted combat feats to protect Calypso. And I was kind of deciding, we have that item that does the athletics thing on your charge. Maybe we'll do that. But when I decided I wasn't going to go into all the charge stuff, I was like, okay, what are we going to do instead? We have basically a point that we can spend every turn. We should do something with it. And I was like, maybe we do like lore nature, or we do some other thing so that we're covered, right? Maybe we do perception, right? Because since Sela's normally out in front, she can try to see some of the traps that she runs into. That would be nice, right? Save us a little bit of time and effort reloading things. And that is still a good concept. It's a good enough concept that, in point of fact, Calypso actually has a bit of perception to do that instead. Not a crazy amount, but a bit, right? But instead, I was like, a cool thing that we have never made use of is Cornagon Smash. And this is whenever you use power attack and you hit someone with a power attack, you can make a persuasion intimidate check to try to demoralize them. This isn't going to work on a lot of enemies, but it is going to work on some enemies, and it's a passive effect that we just don't have to worry about ever, right? So it's kind of an interesting little mechanic on the side, right? So now we have pretty high persuasion with Sela and the potential of intimidating targets that she is fighting. So that seemed kind of fun. Mythic Path also changed a little bit, right? We already had Mythical Beast, we already had Power Attack Mythic, we already had Improved Critical Mythic Scythe. So that's all staying the same. Last time I think we had Leading Strike. We are still going to have Leading Strike because Leading Strike is actually pretty good. We might not. Actually, hold up. I have a screenshot. Let me go check my screenshot. No, we didn't. We had Mythic Charge, right? Mythic Charge was, again, that scenario of like, I'm not going to focus on the charges, so we're not going to worry about this. Leading Strike is something that works every time we're attacking, rather than Mythic Charge only working when we're charging, right? Technically, we do have to hit, but Seela hits a bunch, so. And then the other thing is we had Inspirational Leader. I still think Inspirational Leader is very strong, and I probably want to pick it up on somebody, but not Seela. Probably Sociel, truth be told. Seela is a fighter, though, an attacker, constantly attacking, so I want her to make use of the fact that she's constantly attacking. So, decided to pick up Unrelenting Assault. Every time she's making melee attacks every single turn, as long as she continues to make melee attacks, she stacks up bonus. It's a bonus damage. It's not a crazy amount of damage, but it adds up over the course of the fight. And additional damage when you're critting is good, right? I don't even know if this damage necessarily stacks with criticals or gets amplified by criticals, but even if it doesn't, whatever. Right? So Seela is very, 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 very focused on damage, aside from the few kind of like mounted combat feats that she has. Pretty cool. And the Calypso is pretty wildly different. Because I caved and I decided to do the dumb monk stuff just because I think it's kind of... I want to see if it's cool. I want to see if it actually functions the way that people say it does, right? So we've taken Calypso, the quintessential, kind of like crane-style route, right? So early on, we couldn't take any of the crane stuff because we needed to boost her intelligence up to 3. So instead we took Focus Bite, because she has a bite attack and hoof attacks. Bite attack seems to do a little bit more damage, I think. So I was like, hey, let's focus on the bite, it would be cool. Then you have to take Improved Unarmed Strike, which does basically nothing for Calypso. So that's a wasted feat, but the wasted feat unlocks our ability to take Crane Style, Crane Wing, and Crane Riposte, right? So now, Calypso, when fighting defensively, which we haven't been doing for a long time, actually, because we didn't want to reduce her chance of hitting, right? We're going to go back to that because of this line of feats, right? Now, when she is fighting defensively, she gains additional bonuses to her dodge AC, right? It reduces the penalty for fighting defensively. She gains even more dodge bonus as long as she has a hand free, and technically she has 4 hooves free, so we Gucci there, right? And if she loses this if she gets missed by a margin, right? But then Crane Riposte further reduces the penalty for fighting defensively, and whenever you lose this little dodge bonus, you get an automatic attack of opportunity. So in theory, as long as Calypso is getting attacked, she's probably going to lose this on occasion, get these free auto attacks. She's going to have she's going to have a higher AC off of her defensive fighting, right? She's going to have less penalty to this defensive fighting, etc., etc., right? So that's the overall goal. Everything else still stays the same, right? We still have power attack, we still have heavy barding. So ultimately, probably gonna work out mostly the same, but maybe just a little bit of extra, a little bit of extra counterattack opportunity, right? And hopefully, we're looking at about 5 additional AC normally, on top of the +3 that we would normally have. So hopefully we're gonna see +8 AC, right? And then that if we have all of our buffs. So what I'm trying to aim is I'm trying to get towards around the 55 mark with Calypso on AC on a particular turn. Also, hello, how's it going, that dude? It's pet time. Otis, that dude sends his regards. He's like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Okay, so those are the big changes that we have made. Everything else is so far pretty much the same. So we're going to jump into other characters. We only have access to Ninio and Woljif and Susiel right now, so those are the ones that we are going to jump into. We're probably going to save me for last because it's a whole lot of extra work. So I am going to make a save here for Ninio. Nenio actually might not need a whole hell of a lot of changes. So let's take a look at her build first before we jump into any... Because she might be fine, right? She starts off with Spell Focus Illusion. We're happy about that. Spell Penetration, happy about that. Greater Spell Focus Illusion, also happy. Greater Spell Penetration, perfectly fine. Combat Casting, we could probably skip. Right? Like, it's definitely a thing, but we could probably skip. Improved Initiative, could definitely skip. Meta Magic Persistent Spell, that I do like, right? Persistent Spell is the thing that allows us to upgrade our Phantasmal Killer and use it to kind of like, you know, double up the rolls for nukage. So that's pretty good. And then we have Toughness, right? So, yeah, it definitely feels like, you know, we have 3 feats right here that aren't really much of a thing. At the very least, this is gonna sound weird, but like we could you know, we could look into doing maybe some shadow stuff for situations where we can't Phantasmal Kill or something. Or we could just look into other spell types, right? For when we can't Phantasmal Kill or something. Or hell, we could even just like look into being like, okay, you're gonna get some you know, like precise shot and shit like that, so you can just shoot a crossbow or something like that when you can't Phantasmal Kill or something, right? So I think the key concept here is what to do when you can't Phantasmal Kill or something. And I think, in fairness, the backup, right, is well, she is a wizard scroll savant, right? And we have not really been making use of that situation. So maybe we look into that and actually do something there, right? So we do have scribe scrolls as a base. Maybe we want to take higher scribe scrolls with some of our feats or something like that. And then with Mythic Path, this one I do think we're relatively fine on, right? Like, Abundant Casting, Improved Abundant Casting, Greater Abundant Casting, all definitely routes that we want to go. Spell Penetration Mythic, yes. Spell Focus Mythic, yes. All perfectly fine. I think as we go forward, we're probably going to want to look into, like, Enduring Spells, right? But for now, I'm relatively happy with what we're doing here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take screenshots of both of these, and we're going to annoy Casey by sending them to her. Yeah. And then we're going to start kind of like noodling around with the concept of what the fuck do we do with this stuff. Oof. Surely they wouldn't make you lose all of the stuff that you have learned via scrolls. Are there any builds that we need to like look at, do we think? What we got going on? Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous, Enio builds. Let's see if we can get some inspiration. I'm actually really, really happy with our Phantasmal Killer scenario. I feel very, very satisfied with that situation. But, right, maybe there are other things that we could potentially do, right? Or maybe we can get some inspiration on how to augment her to do thing, or when she's not doing Phantasmal Killer, right? Okay, so she comes in with Scroll Savant, Opposition schools, abjuration, necromancy. And she comes in with spell penetration. So she comes in at a level 3. Metamagic selective. Oh. Interesting. Spell specialization. Okay. This is like this build is just like taking 15 metamagics, and I'm like, okay, is that necessary? Hum. Um, heightened spell. Things like grease and pits. That's probably the thing, right? Is just be like, look, you can learn not every, you can learn a shit ton of spells on Ninio. Why are you only equipping Phantasmal Killer, right? You know, but you want to do other things besides Phantasmal Killer, equip other things aside from Phantasmal Killer. The only issue is all of our stuff is into illusion. There's not that many crazy good illusion things, so okay. I don't think we want to take her a different class. I don't mind dipping into a class like one or two or something like that, but I don't think I want to go like super far into another class. This is like 10 levels into Arcane Trickster. This is 10 levels into Eldritch Knight. So, I mean, those are interesting things, but I don't think I want to go that route. I wanna play mostly pure classes. Um, what the fuck is selective spell? Uh, Whatever. This doesn't matter. We're just looking at stuff. Again, doesn't matter. Just looking at stuff. Again, doesn't matter. Looking at stuff. Oh, that was not the stuff that I wanted to look at. Whoops. Fine, here.
Yes, what?
We'll just kick this off. We've got... This first level is nothing, so we literally just take a intelligence boost. That's fine. Although, I'm pretty sure... We could take a point in Dex now, just to have a higher, slightly higher armor class, right? And higher, you know, touch attack type stuff. Because I'm 999% sure that even if you put every point into intelligence, you'll end up in an odd level. So that doesn't behoove you, right? So I'm not going to worry about it now. We'll just grab 1 point in intelligence. It's whatever. What the fuck do we want to do with her skills? In the off chance that this is actually what we stick with, what do we want to do with her skills? That's a good question. She gets 4 points, so we're gonna have religion covered almost all the time by Sela and Sociel, right? So I think we take magic device and then nature, world, arcana. I don't really see... We don't really have to concern ourselves with other things, clearly. Oh, God. Okay. We know this situation. We know we don't care about things like the bears or boss or blurs or whatevers. We care about illusion spells. Blur and invisibility are both solid there. Okay, this is what we're actually interested in. If we spend 1 additional point in something, what do we want to spend that 1 additional point in? I would say perception, actually. I think perception is that kind of like catch-all situation where I kind of just want everyone to have a little bit of perception to see shit. Because we've done the whole shtick where Arushale is the only person with high perception, and then that just ends up with like a uh-oh kind of moment. So, you know. Okay. Spell focus. Is that what they suggesting? No, that's not what they were. Selective spell. Really? When casting a selective spell with an area effect and a duration of instantaneous, you can choose a number of targets in the area equal to the ability score modifier used to determine bonus spells of the same type. So intelligence. These targets are excluded from the effects of your spell. So the idea being that if you have a bunch of powerful AoE spells that will fuck up your party, you can use the selective spell to not fuck up your party. That's cool. That's very cool. But I have no idea. Okay, we're gonna have to think about what the fuck our actual spells are gonna be, because I don't know. And because I don't know, I am more inclined to go greater spell penetration initially, right? Because we know that is something that we actively care about. We want displacement. And we definitely want haste. So we want to keep an eye out for that kind of like, that communal selective spell kind of issue. So it has to be duration instant, right? Like a stinking cloud does not count. We want see invisibility communal. Okay, mythic rank. What we did last time, I do think is probably still like the route we want to go. At least initially, right? Like, abundant casting is still absolutely going to be the thing that we would prefer, right? Like, do you feel like that is the case? Okay. Am I making her a nuker or a buffer? I'm making her a insta kill everything with Phantasmal Killer. I'm making her into exactly what I had her previously as, but with the caveat of trying to give her something to do when she can't Phantasmal Killer something. Right? So, the previous build that we have, I love. It's great, right? Like, it's absolutely awesome to walk into a fight and with Ninio just be like, oh, that guy dies instantly. Done. And we've had a lot of success with it. The only issue is when we get into fights where everything either is immune to that or doesn't or has such high bonuses that they're never going to fail the save, right? So the idea there is to, okay, in those instances, what feats can we swap around? What spells can we swap around to give her something to do, right? Like, do we turn her into she insta-kills everything and then she's a mediocre archer, right? Or she insta-kills things and when she's not doing that, she is okay debuffer. Like, she's already been really good at, again, insta-killing and buffing, right? Now it's just a matter of, in battle, what does she do to not twiddle her thumbs, basically. And previously, what we had her doing was turn into a dragon, right? And that's cool, but it has some mixed efficacy. So, I'm just, exploring options. Spell focus, greater spell focus, probably still a very easy situation to go for there. Again, I do still want to focus on her insta-killing things. So everything that goes in line with that, I still think we want to do. Phantasmal Killer, greater invisibility. Maybe we do go into the shadow scenario since, right? Like, but the problem is most of the things that we would want to use the shadow stuff on, we would just Phantasmal Killer, right? I guess the scenario being is that sometimes you could shadow something that is not mind affecting. Oh, well, she is Scroll Savant, right? So, like, I can just use the shit out of scrolls. I just haven't really gone that route. I could give her a better ability to make more scrolls, and that's definitely on the docket, right? So, yeah, absolutely. Oh, Lore Master. Interesting. Okay. Destiny Beyond Birth. This one is... So this is something that I noticed earlier, right? And this is Expanded Arsenal. This takes all of the bonuses of your feats and mythic feats that apply to another school of magic, such as Spell Focus and Spell Specialization, and apply it to a second school. So... I don't think this is something that we want to do right now, but we do have this situation where we're piling a bunch of things into spell focus for and school specialization for illusion later on in maybe like 4 or 6, right? Exactly, right? It's like 4 feats for 1 mythic feat. So... if while we're going through spells, I want to be looking at, okay, well, we are illusion with her, and we're evocation with, Ember, and we're enchantment with me. That doesn't mean we can't double up, but she is abjuration and necromancy, kind of like negative, but that still leaves conjuration, divination, and transmutation, and obviously, again, we could double up. We could take this and make her... because part of our goal is to make her DCs super high in illusion. We could turn around and make her DCs super high in something else, right? Like, give her crazy spell pin, make her DCs super high in something else, and then she could be doing this in a fight. She will either insta-kill something else, or she'll do something, other DC. That's kind of a thing that I'm really interested in it, but I'm not sure how we suss that out necessarily. Right? So, still on the docket, right? In the meantime, though, right, we could take some School Mastery, or... Oh, I didn't get a Wurmple. I didn't see him. Or we could take Spell Penetration Mythic, or we could take Spell Focus Mythic. I do think we are going to go for Spell Penetration Mythic this time around. Probably we'll go Spell Focus Mythic next time. So we've got 27. Yeah. Boom. Oh, God. It's so many things right now. Oh, it wasn't... I didn't want Perception anymore. Or I didn't want for religion anyways. I wanted perception. I don't think I put any additional point on that. I think we're okay. Alright, now we're looking at this situation of, if we're not going to specialize in shadow, there's almost no point to take the shadow stuff. So, what does the shadow stuff even do? Wall of fucking text. You use material from the plane of shadow to shape quasi-real illusions of one or more creatures, objects, or forces. Shadow conjuration can mimic any sorcerer or wizard conjuration, summoning, or conjuration creation spell of 3rd level or lower. Shadow conjurations are only 1/5, 20% as strong as the real things, though creatures who believe the shadow conjurations to be real are affected by them at full strength. Any creature that interacts with the spell can make a will save to recognize its true nature. Spells that deal damage have normal effects unless the affected creature succeeds on a will save. Each disbelieving creature takes only 1/5, 20% damage from the attack. If the disbelieved attack has a special effect other than damage, that effect is only 20% likely to occur. Regardless of the result of the save to disbelieve, an affected creature is also allowed any save that the spell being simulated allows, but the DC is set according to the Shadow Conjuration's level, 4th, rather than the spell's normal level. In addition, any effect created by Shadow Conjuration allows spell resistance, even if the spell it is simulating does not. Shadow objects or substances have normal effects except against those who disbelieve them. Against disbelievers, they are 20% likely to work. A shadow creature has 1/5 the hit points of a normal creature of its kind, regardless of whether it's recognized as shadowy. It deals normal damage and has all normal abilities and weaknesses. Against a creature that recognizes it as a shadow creature, however, the shadow creature's damage is 1/5 normal, and its all special abilities that do not deal lethal damage are only 20% likely to work. Roll for each use and each affected character separately. Furthermore, the shadow creature's AC bonuses are just 1/5 as large. A creature that succeeds on its save against the shadow conjurations as transparent images sees the shadow conjurations as transparent images superimposed on vague shadowy forms. Objects automatically succeed their will saves against this spell. Okay, so that sounds like a very complicated way of saying you conjure stuff like conjure animals, right? Like summon monster, but shadow versions that have a will save, right? Okay. Interesting, I guess. Right, like I know there are ways to like ramp up the shadow stuff, specifically in the mythic path stuff, but I'm pretty sure we want to just go abundant casting. Maybe shadow conjuration is something that we look into in the future, but maybe not right now, right? Rainbow pattern seems fine, actually. So we probably will pick up rainbow pattern. But other than that, so one of the things I've been thinking about is that we could do with Nenio what we had kind of intended on doing, right? With our whole enchantment debilitation thing. Although part of the issue there is like most of the time when we run into something that we can't phantasmal killer, it's because it resists mind affecting or emotion, or its will saves are super high, right? And something like the get off. What's happening here? What is this fucking pop-up shit? Go away. What? WTF, mate? Fucking weird ass shit. Anyways, if we were to go into enchantment, for example, right? We were like, oh, we'll let Nenio do it. It's the same issue, right? It's still mind affecting, it's still emotion, and it's still will saves, right? So I, as interesting as I think it could be, I don't think the way to give Nenio an alternative thing to do is to go into a different spell school that's gonna make her have the same issues, right? So that I think is one ix, right? Like we can just cut that out, right off the bat, right? We could do evocation though instead. That's an option. I'm not seeing anything here that's just like immediately jumping out to me aside from like, ooh, let's fireball things, you know? So I think we're actually probably just gonna grab Shadow Contract. Pits are really nice too. They are actually. I probably should pick up some of the pits. The only thing that I have against the pits is that because I am playing a big summoning class, right? When I used pits earlier on in the game, the summons are stupid and they run right into the fucking pits all the goddamn time. So I felt like a lot of times I would be like shooting myself in the foot with my own pits. But you know, it's kind of like a mixed bag, so definitely an option to look at. So, other thing, wanted to look at some meta magics. We wanted to look at spell specialization or Phantasmal Killer, right? That could absolutely be a thing. What's the... Isn't the scroll stuff a feat? Oh, she already has scribe scrolls. You just need, higher thing. Spell focus, we already have. We don't need any of the teamwork feats. We've already got all of those covered. I don't like the Magic Tail ability. I think it's very, very weak. Yeah, I'm kind of seeing why most of the builds I looked at just have a shit ton of meta magic, and that's because I'm not sure that there are a whole lot of feats that I really care about, right? I think there's a relic that you get in Chapter 3 that is OP for Spell Pin. Entirely possible. I think I've got... I might not have it. I don't know. But I've got quite a few things that have just made things very, very simple for me. Spell specialization seems like a route that we probably just want to go here. What does spell specialization even do for us here? Is there even a level effect for Phantasmal Killer? Aside from like the spell penetration, it's the ring that gives the caster like 3 spellcaster teamwork feats. Holy shit, that's pretty cool. Fortunately, all of my... I wonder if that would work by saving me feats. Every one of their allies within 10 feet? Wow, that is pretty nice. So, because I'm Azada, one of the Azada abilities I take on my main character is the lifelong friendship or life bonding friendship or something like that. And then with that, all of the teamwork feats that my main character has get applied to all of my other characters. So the build that I have on my main character is literally just, hey, take all the teamwork feats, right? So I just have all the teamwork feats anyways, basically, on everyone already. But that would be really neat if I could give my if it worked that way, if I could give my main character that, And that counted as having the feats that could save me like 3 feats that I could get into other things, which would be pretty cool. That would actually be really cool. Do you know the name of that? I might need to look that up. Spell with greater than normal power. Your caster level as being 2 level... Okay. A spell's damage, effect duration, and overall effectiveness often depends on its caster level, for which most spellcasting characters equal to their character level. For multi-class characters, it's equal to the class level and the class they're using to cast the spell. Magic items, caster level is also used in checks to overcome your target's spell resistance. That's what I'm interested in. A spellcaster must make a caster level check and get a result equal to... Okay, so having spell specialization Phantasmal Killer means that our Phantasmal Killer is more likely to get through spell penetration, which honestly our stuff was already basically always penetrating, so I don't know that we really care about this. It's probably still worth us picking up, though. Yeah, I'm really not seeing much other than maybe us taking defensive options or taking... I definitely don't care about improved initiative, honestly. I thought I did back in Ye Day, but I do not. We're going to take Spell Specialization, Phantasmal Killer. Do it up. What? Do we just get Phantasm? What? Back. Do we get multiples of these? And if so, why? Heightened and persistent? Yes, we definitely want persistent. Persistent is one of the combos that we use with Phantasmal Killer to double up the saving throws. Heightened would be... Oh, heightened is, again, making it to where the saving throws and the spell pen is higher. Gotcha. Yeah, it increases the spell DC. Absolutely still one of the... a good option for us, though. What is going on here with this Phantasmal Killer thing? Like, this feels very weird. Why does spell specialization give you multiple spells? What? What? What is this window? I'm so confused. What the fuck is going on here? I do not know what's happening. I don't know if this is just some weird route of picking your... What? The fuck? I'm gonna fucking do some searching. See if I can get an explanation on what's going on there. Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous. Yeah, stacking? Bug? It's prompting a window after the feat because you're gaining a level in spellcasting class. Okay. Because I'm gaining a level in spellcasting class. That's so strange, though. So you select spell for the feat, and then it prompts the window because it's like, oh, you gained a level, and you you can change this if you want right now. Oh, you're right. I forgot about that because once you take spell specialization, every time you level, it prompts you if you want to change what you're specialized in. So you're right. It's acting as if I am gaining a level and like, oh hey, you want to change what you just specialized in? No, game. No, I do not want to change what I just specialized in. You fuck. Good job. That definitely makes sense. Okay. Things that we are interested in. Echolocation, yes. Thought sense is just as good, if not better. Actually, there's not really a lot of difference between. You gain blind sight to a range of 50 feet. You gain blind sight to a range of 60 feet, basically. What? Oh, Pathfinder. Why you gotta do this? Ay, ay, ay. Ay, ay, ay. Do you want to take animal growth? Very, very strong. Echolocation, I do like those. Improved abundant casting. Yes. Oh my god. It's way to make me wish I had not taken that. Holy shit. Oh god. We're probably just gonna go ahead and take Phantasmal Web and Shadow Evocation. Reiki. Yeah, we do want to start making more scrolls, I think. Big part of what we need to be doing with her. Destructive Dispel. Whenever you successfully make a targeted Dispel check against an opponent, that opponent must make stunned. That's interesting. Successfully Dispel. You can go Lore Master at 10. It's very good. Or am I going Pure Wizard? I'm probably going Pure Wizard. Right? Like, I'm not completely against the idea of going a different class. Lore Master is Sorcerer? What is Lore Master? Is Lore Master a prestige class? It is. I would have to have a meta magic. And I would have to take skill focus. Lore Master, what does Lore Master get us? What is Lore Master as a thing? Lore Master gets us... We get wizard bonus feats if we stay Scroll Savant. Lore Master gets us... First level and every 2 levels higher than first. Chooses 1 secret from the following lists. Can't choose the same secret. The fuck are these? Learn a spell, learn a combat feat, learn a druid spell. Learn a rogue talent. Okay. When a new Lore Master level is gained, the character gains new spells per day as if he also had gained a level in a spellcasting class he belonged to before adding the Prestige class. He does not, however, gain other benefits a character of that class would have gained, except for additional spells per day, spells known if he is a spontaneous caster, and an increased effective level of spellcasting. If a character had more than one spellcasting class, he must decide to which class he adds the new level. So, okay, interpreting this, right? If what I am taking this to mean is if I take Lore Master, right, then every level I get in Lore Master counts as a level in Wizard for scaling up my access to magic, right? Like, so going up to 6, 7, 8, 9 spells, that type of thing. So what I am trading is I'm trading these secrets, right? For these wizard bonus feats, basically. That's what I'm trading out. So I'm trading the concept of 5 feats or 5 secrets, which can be spells or they can be combat feats. What would I be trying to obtain, right? Like that's the concept is there some really cool cleric or druid spell or something like that I would be trying to obtain? Or what? Plus 10 to Knowledge Arcana. Interesting. Half his level to all lore and knowledge skill checks. That's interesting as well. Cool. So for Lore Master, I would need to take meta magic, any meta magic, right? And either skill focus Arcana or skill focus World. And we have things that we didn't care about taking previously. We did not need to take spell focus, spell specialization. And we didn't, I mean, we kind of do want the other things that we have. I think we might circle back around on this, right? Like, we're definitely going to respec before the end of the game again, I'm certain. So I think for now, for the sake of actually making progress tonight, I think we might circle back around on the Lore Master idea. Okay, if we are continuing forward, what are we trying to accomplish? I think it is here that we definitely want something like persistent. Thing is a persistent headache. What's going on with this? I actually did not like phantasmal putrefaction or putrefaction very much. Like, it did not really seem to be a thing that mattered, especially. Um, so I am more inclined. Was it Fox's Cunning? I think it was Fox's Cunning that we did. Heroism Greater would probably be pretty good. Sirocco is really nice, but that will also fuck up my party. Tarpool. Okay, alright. Hear me out. Hear me out. What if we can't just kill it, we just I mean, we basically already did this though with like the dragons, right? We were basically like, oh, well, if we can't kill it, we'll just turn into a dragon and try to. If we can't phantasmal killer it, we'll just turn into a dragon and try to kill it. What if we, what if we just went with transformation? Isn't there like a lower tier of transformation? I was sworn there was. Yeah, we spam the shit out of Hellfire Ray on Ember. Our whole build is designed around Hellfire Ray for Ember. And honestly, it would probably be perfectly fine to pick up Hellfire Ray for Nenio. I just don't really wanna, right? Like I don't want to double up on doing the exact same like tactic. It would probably be strategically sound. I just, is me being blah. Hmm. Disintegrates. A Larvitar. Hold up. Larvitar is the base of. Oh no, that's not what I was thinking. It's still cool, but not. Not the thing. Um. Yeah. Okay. Maybe we do. Maybe we do like that whole specialize into transmutation. The with the mythic paths, we flip it and we apply all of our illusion stuff into transmutation stuff as well, right? I don't know. Seems like a fun idea. We'll see. Definitely not going to happen at this exact moment, because first we're going to go spell, focus, mythic, illusion. Yeah. This is so annoying. Oh, God. Stone to Flesh is actually something that I would like to pick up. Let's also take something like I say something like greater, heroism greater. But we've got plenty of people covering that at the moment. We'll stick with Phantasmal Putrefaction. Not happy about it, but we will. Okay. I think right back down to Meta Magic. Looking to see if there's anything else, but I think right back down to Meta Magic. And probably Heightened. Quickened could be useful. Selective could be useful. But we haven't really taken anything that we care about from a selective standpoint or from a quickened standpoint. I think we'll just stick with Heightened now. Because Heightened is a... Oh, you just get to pick. Interesting. Alright, Mass Invisibility. I don't remember that. Oh, this is a better form of Shadow Conjuration. Interesting. Firebrand. Any creature it marks is immune to damage from any fire spell you cast. All the target's weapons, both natural and manufactured, inflict plus 1d6 points of fire damage on hit. At any point during the spell's duration, a creature bearing a firebrand can launch a beam of fire at any target within 30 feet as a swift action. This ray requires a ranged touch attack and deals 66. Interesting. That's kind of cool. We definitely want Eye Spotty. And I think we want Legendary. And probably True Seeing Communal. Definitely Legendary Proportion. Seeing Communal is very useful from a quality of life standpoint. We're looking at transmutation stuff now, though, kinda. Resonating Word. Target must make a Fortitude saving throw once each round. Effect grows stronger for each saving throw the creature fails. Target takes 5d6 points of sonic damage and is staggered, 5d6 points of damage and is stunned, 10d6 points of damage and is stunned. Huh, interesting. Polymorph Greater. Okay. Firebrand seems like an interesting thing. Invisibility Mass also seems like an interesting thing. Oh shit, I've not been paying attention to the time. In a momento. Let's go ahead and snag the 7th level spell. Let's take Shadow Conjuration for now. And actually, that's going to be the end of this video. If you're watching on Twitch, stick around. We're going to keep playing. If you're watching on YouTube, hope you enjoyed, and we will see you next time for more Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. Bye-bye, everybody.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, commenting, or subscribing. It really helps me out. If you'd like to see me live, head over to my Twitch at twitch.tv/thedistanthorizon.